Now, that fires question, Albanese went back to that during question time. They feel it's something that continues to resonate with voters.
Yeah, especially on the South Coast where Labor wants to hang on to Gilmore. They want to hang on to Eden Monero. The Hawaii theme came out in the 60 Minutes interview. The government's view on that was better for us to get out and discuss it on 60 Minutes than wait for Labor advertising to do it in the campaign. But you see Albanese on it here. Pretty personal attack on both sides here.
The Leader of the Opposition.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. My question is addressed to the Prime Minister, and I refer to his last two answers in response to members whose electorates were ravaged by bushfires and where people are still living in caravans. Isn't his response exactly what former Premier Gladys Berejiklian was referring to when she stated, quote, "Lives are at stake today and he's just obsessed with petty political point scoring," in the same text message where she went on to say he was actively spreading a word that's unparliamentary?
We are continuing to deliver this support on the ground. We are continuing to work with the state government, who obviously is seeking to address the accommodation issues, Mr Speaker, and we continue to support the communities when it comes to their resilience and their recovery on the ground all over the country, Mr Speaker. The Leader of the Labor Party has been seeking to exploit natural disasters for political gain for the last 3 years, Mr Speaker. It's a grubby tactic on his behalf and it reflects on his character, and he's failed the character test.
Now, the Labor Party not just copying some issues from the government, but from their own side.
You could call this friendly fire, Kieran. So let's talk about this bomb. Kimberley Kitching exploded on her side, naming the Chinese businessman Chau Chak Wing and claiming he was behind a foreign interference plot in Australian politics. The Labor senator here questioning ASIO Director-General Mike Burgess and making her allegation in estimates.
I'm reliably informed that the puppeteer mentioned in your case study in your annual threat assessment speech last week is Chau Chak Wing. I believe it to be Chau Chak Wing. Are you able to confirm that it is Chau Chak Wing?
Senator, as I've said before, I will not comment on speculation of who is and who isn't targets in general or in specifically as you're asking me there. I think it's unfair that you ask me that question in public.
I'm told Kitching has information that federal and state Labor candidates were being recruited, but none of those candidates have been successful. The aim, supposedly, according to her sources, was to have the candidates in Parliament and have them owe their benefactor once elected. Mike Burgess really not impressed, you saw from that footage, in the fact that the question was asked. Now, Kimberley Kitching was obviously operating there under parliamentary privilege, which protects her from being sued. Chau Chak Wing has successfully sued before against 9 newspapers after being accused of being a member of the Chinese Communist Party and being accused of being a Chinese agent, won hundreds of thousands of dollars. In 2018, it was reported that Mr Chau had donated $4 million to both major parties. His daughter used to work for Bob Carr and Maurice Yemmel when they were premiers, and he has made $20 million donations to create a Chau Chak Wing museum and separate building at the University of Technology Sydney and Sydney University, and donated to the Australian War Memorial. In fact, though there was a cryptic mention of the museum in question time by Peter Dutton, I noticed, and Bob Carr, who opened that museum. But look, Chau Chak Wing has just put out a statement, and he has threatened to sue Kimberley Kitching. That statement, out just a few minutes ago, says, "I'm shocked and disappointed at the baseless and reckless claim made by Senator Kimberley Kitching during a Senate estimates hearing on Monday. It is always unfortunate when elected representatives use the shield of parliamentary privilege to vilify and attack Australian citizens without producing a shred of evidence." Says he's a businessman and a philanthropist. "I've never had any involvement or interest in interfering with the democratic election process in Australia." And then he talks about his successful damages claim against 9 journalists, Nick McKenzie and the ABC. And he says, Kieran, "I invite Senator Kitching to show some courage and integrity by repeating her claim and revealing the sources she says she relied on outside the Parliament." I predict she won't be doing that.